Hundreds of people walked the streets of Glasgow this St Andrew's Day, standing against racism in solidarity. With the rise of the right wing throughout the United Kingdom following the EU referendum, it is becoming clear that people no longer feel afraid to publicise their racist views. Marches like these are filled with extreme left-wing anti-racism people who now feel that this year it is more important than ever for them to stand up against bigotry. I spoke with Labour leader Kezia Dugdale, who detailed the importance of the rally following this strange political year.
So we've got a big team of Scottish Labour activists and wider trade unionists all joining the march against racism in Glasgow this morning. A lot of us were here last year when it was really raining very badly, so we're glad that today it's dry if it's just a wee bit cold as well.
Yes, so do you think things like today are important then, especially in the wake of like this year's the political changes of this year with Brexit and Trump as well?
It's more important than ever. So you've seen Donald Trump be elected off the back of a really xenophobic and racist campaign in many respects. There's a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment back
I spoke with Denise Christie, the Scottish Treasurer for the Fire Brigade Union. She spoke to me about her experience of the marches and the result of the changes of this year.
Well, I think it's really important that firefighters are seen supporting a diverse community. We work within communities where right across Scotland where it's very, very diverse, and we want to make sure that our workforce represents the communities we work in. So we need to have visibility of black and ethnic minority people within our workforce as well.
So do you think this year, have you been on any of the marches previous?
Been on loads of marches, I'm pretty much here every year. The Fire Brigade Union, we're affiliated to the STEC, so we support lots of anti-racism and anti-fascism organisations.
Do you think the marches this year then have been a bit more important, I would say, as like the way the political change went?
Absolutely, we're seeing the rise of the right within France with Marine Le Pen and the Front National, and obviously Trump getting elected as well, and the rise of UKIP within the United Kingdom. So I think our voice needs to be stronger and it needs to be heard, and the more people that come out to these marches, the more resistance we're showing to these people from the far right.
Yeah. So do you think it's like a lot of like mostly trade union people here, or do you think there's a lot of like new younger people coming out?
Aye, absolutely. I mean, there's cross-party support, which is great to see within Scotland. Cross trade union support right across, lots of various trade unions, public service trade unions, private trade unions. We're seeing students groups, organisations as well. So it's really important that the young and the youth generation come through, so that what their brothers and sisters older years have fought for, that message gets through to them to say, we need to stand up always to racism.
So do you think that it's developed and like you've seen maybe a better an increase of more tolerance throughout the years, or do you think it's just as important as when you first started doing it?
I think racism's getting worse to be honest with you. Yeah, it's absolutely getting worse, and we've seen that there's always people that are racist, but they've been very, very scared to say their views. Now they're not scared to say their views or show what they actually feel, whether it's physically or verbally, abuse that's happening. We're seeing much more attacks on things like mosques, much more attacks on immigrants and refugees. So it's really important, like I said, that our voice is louder than theirs.
Since its began, the St Andrew's Day Anti-Racism March has set out to show Scotland as an inclusive country that celebrates diversity. Many of the protesters there were proud to admit that 2016 was one of the largest demonstrations that they had ever seen, a far cry from the extreme right views that are taking over the world.
Good afternoon and welcome to UWS News at 1 o'clock. I'm Erin Cairns. Scottish health experts have suggested setting a minimum price on tobacco as a means to lower the number of smokers in Scotland. Recent NHS figures show that smoking caused over 10,000 deaths each year, with more than 1 in 5 adults in the country admitting to the habit. Public Health Minister Eileen Campbell said, Scotland is making good progress to reduce the harm from smoking. Our new tobacco strategy will support more progress, including smoking rates in communities where people find it most difficult to quit. Dominic Cassidy has more on the story at 3. Philip Hammond's budget announcement yesterday, which included a further £2 billion for Scotland, has been dismissed by the First Minister. Nicola Sturgeon described the pledge as smoke and mirrors and believes that the extra spending figure has much less to it than meets the eye. She also criticised the Chancellor's failure to announce spending to lift the public sector pay cap. In local news, a charity restaurant in Ayr is set to open its doors ahead of schedule this Christmas to provide 50 free meals for the local community. A reporter Morgan Collinette has more on the story later. And finally, it's European Waste Reduction Week, an initiative to encourage us to reduce, reuse and recycle. One fun and creative way to do this is to upcycle. Brodie Gettins has more.
Angela Smith, who
To the outside world, drag culture has grown, with the extremely successful RuPaul's Drag Race leading the charge. Glasgow's drag scene is no exception, with shows that you can catch any night of the week. I spoke to two of the queens who gave their thoughts on the influence of Drag Race and the success of their local scene.
I think that drag is about being a mirror to society and about being a mirror to pop culture, making people think more about the world around them. I think that's the kind of purpose of drag, really. I would not be working as much as I do. I would not be able to do drag full time had it not been for RuPaul's Drag Race. It's completely like, it's brought drag to a whole new generation and a whole new market. I do not think it would be as popular in like mainstream straight culture had it not been for Drag Race.
I would say without Drag Race there wouldn't be as big as a crowd as there is now without it. Because Drag Race has opened a lot of people's eyes. Not just like gay people, like straight people and all the rest of it. Like the amount of like straight people come to shows now just because they see Drag Race and stuff. The one thing I don't like is when people will only like the Drag Race girls and like belittle us or think we're beneath them and all the rest of it. And I always say it was like, remember, those girls were us before they got the call.
I owe a lot of my success to Drag Race. But of course there are the downsides of these things. The RuPaul's Drag Race queens do get more attention obviously than the local queens, and that is still kind of a big talking point. But overwhelmingly you cannot complain about Drag Race. Like it's changed the game completely. The style of drag that we do is a little bit different from like the kind of American style of drag. But like our shows are still successful. I think the success of any drag scene is down to like kind of key players in any said scene who set the bar, and I would say people like Lacey Rain and like Darmageddon, who are incredible Glasgow queens and so creative. I've like set the bar so high and really inspired everyone else to be so creative, I guess. Me and my little group of friends, we met together a couple of years ago and we've like become very close. We're like a little family, we're all sisters, and we all like have a very kind of like similar kind of outlook and a sort of sense of humour, and we just get on very well. We've been pretty successful as our little group, and I think, but now with the success of that, there's other drag nights spring up all over Glasgow, so it's a really amazing scene, I would say.
When I started drag, I knew there's a lot of people that do drag nowadays that just they want to do it like a hobby and stuff. But when I started, I knew I wanted it to be my job, and it took me a long time to get from where I started to where I am now. But I still obviously want to like go upwards from that, and like be like I want everybody to know my name. I feel like just now I am there's a lot of queens that are at the top just now, and I feel like I am one of those queens, just because. Like I'm in drag at least about 7 nights a week. The thing is, we're all very close knit, and we all talk a lot. We're all good friends, and we all make sure that we all remain very good friends. We all remain humble with each other.
I think the Glasgow drag scene is one of the best in the UK, and it's really gone from being, when I first came out here when I was like kind of 18, 19, there was literally like one drag show a month, but now we're at the stage where there's about one every single day of the week, and that's much down to like this kind of new young generation of queens that exist who are doing different things, and also Drag Race as well.
When you think of the UK drag, you think of Manchester and like Brighton and stuff, but Glasgow is where it's fucking at right now, because we have so many diversitized different types of drag, but it's never like, oh, let's do let's just only put these certain types of queens on. Every queen gets their podium, every queen gets their moment to shine, and it's just up to those queens what they do with it. Glasgow drag is the best drag in the UK, in my opinion.
Erin Cairns, UWS News, Glasgow. UK Chancellor Philip Hammond announced in his budget today that Scottish Fire and Police Services no longer will have to pay VAT. I spoke to Denise Christie, the Secretary of the Fire Brigade Union, about her thoughts on the new budget.
We've campaigned really heavily in the FBU to allow the fire service in Scotland to have VAT exemption. We're the only fire service in the whole of the UK that pays VAT. They've been paying it since 2013. What we have done is we've written to all MPs, we've lobbied MPs down in Westminster, we've lobbied them on social media, on Twitter, asking them to support the FBU's campaign, so we welcome that.
The decision to scrap VAT has been supported by the Fire Brigade Union and Scottish Government. However, now they are calling for the £140 million the two organisations have paid to be put back into the Scottish Emergency Services.
Now that VAT exemption will probably be around about £10 million a year for the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service. That could fund an extra 337 firefighters. Since a single service happened in 2013, we've lost over 700 frontline firefighter posts, and we've had year-on-year budget cuts of around about £60 million. So we welcome it. We want to make sure that we actually get the VAT that wasn't reclaimed the previous years, which could potentially be around about £40 million. And the next part for the FBU is to make sure that that money is reinvested back into the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service.
This is UWS News. I'm Erin Cairns.